I think I've seen more Indian movies in these past 2 months than I have all of 2024. I guess that's what you get for moving to somewhere different. This one is Deva. So this is a more of a serious cop thriller of good cop, bad cop, and all the shenanigans and backstabbing that will ensue. Did I like this film? Let's find out. Chase Lee Hockey here with the Blue Futon reviewing Deva. What's about? Pretty simple premise. You have a guy who's trying to solve a crime of someone brutally murdering a cop, but he loses his memory. And now he's got to figure out in about 2 or 3 days who this murderer was. So did I like this film? I actually did. So this movie, of course, like every Indian movie, well, not everyone, that's a lie. Usually intermission, right? This one, the first part of the movie is more of him having his memory. The second part of the movie is mostly him not having his memory and trying to figure out what he figured out in the first half of the movie. And this is a good twist and turn movie. Yes, by the end, you're like, yeah, I see that happening, but there was enough doubt in the story to go, I think it's him, but I think it's him. Like, there was nothing like, it's that person through and throughout. But when the end credits rolled, I said, yeah, it kept me going. Good twists and turns. Good different scenarios I didn't think about. But then also, if a guy is that horrific with being a sniper, make sure he knows actually has a hold a gun. Anyway, what I like about this film, the acting. The main guy, even though this movie I think bombed in India, I thought he did a well enough job because he had to play basically two characters. Him being subdued and him being the kind of the dick cop of like, I'm better than everyone. I refuse to wear the uniform. I will, rough people up. I will not be a good person to society whatsoever. I will get what I want, and I don't care who I have to step on to get to that goal. And, some people are like, oh, yeah, that means he doesn't care. Nah, that means, like, he really does shady shit, and a lot of people are like, will tolerate it, but at a point, you need to simmer down, my brother. And there was a time and point in this movie where it goes, oh, shit, that's going to happen. So that oh shit moment that's going to happen is something to do with the cell phone, right? And we finally get it. We're like, okay. But when you actually watch the video, then you watch the flashback of what was supposed to happen with like water in someone's face and him eating, I do not like it because principles and morals go out the window. And at that point, just like a lot of Indian movies do, they want you to feel bad for a specific character, especially the superstar of the film. And I did not like that part of the film. But leading up to that, of like, okay, first off, leading up to that, the very first like 5 minutes, I was very nervous because there is a motorcycle crash. And I said, oh no. But then throughout the movie, there was real motorcycle, I want to call it chases, but riding. So I was like, why make that one so CGI heavy? And that was like my biggest like, oh God, what are we getting at here? But leading up to that and then figuring out, the memory loss and things was happening, it actually is some things I've never seen in movies before, especially who the gunman was, who pulled the trigger, how the trigger was pulled. I was like, that is interesting. That is fascinating. That's something I never thought about. Or there might have been in some movies here and there, but it's so quote unquote different that I was like, okay, we're actually into territory where whoever wrote this story had a little bit of like, oh, we could add this and this, and it'll be something a little bit different that the audience can, triple check themselves before they wreck themselves to figure out what the very ending was. And then the side character, especially with one of the main cops, the girlfriend, and things like that, which I really dug. But I really dug his attitude change and how people around him changed as well. Because, of course, when he loses memory, he thinks, okay, I'm a cop. I'm supposed to wear my uniform. I'm supposed to say good morning to people. And people are just shocked of like, who is this cat? What is going on? And he is supposed to lead this team, but he has to try to suppress him not knowing things to his team to try to get the information out of them. And I like that team dynamic between that whatsoever. So like I said, the biggest fault for me, though, with this movie is the cell phone scene. Because there's a scene where he someone splashes water in the main guy's face, saying like, you're a fuck up, you're turning yourself in. But then there's a cell phone footage where it's like, what made you change your stance? Oh, that's right, because the main character is like a superstar in India, or trying to be a superstar in India, if I'm reading the right news articles for this movie, where you're just like, no, there is no ifs, ands, or buts, because they wanted to do that to do the oh shit factor of should that guy have even died in the first place. And you're just like, no, 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 that doesn't work for me. That doesn't fly with that twist they're trying to do. Of course, at the very end of the movie, it is, if you want to call it, a good ending, with the right people going to jail, the wrong people, staying out of jail that don't need to be in jail, and the blurry lines of like good, bad, evil, and doing the right thing kind of become clearer for more people, and I do enjoy that. But that twist and turn they try to decide to make, like, oh no, like why? No, he shouldn't have done that, because if he wouldn't have done that, then everything would have been happy sappy. I just don't believe that whatsoever. But overall, Deva, I enjoyed the twists and turns. I enjoyed what I saw on screen. It didn't have really any pacing issues for me. Yes, there were some tropes here and there that I've seen multiple times before. And even though they weren't bad, it was a trope where it kind of made me just a little bit angry of what they were trying to do with some of the characters at the very end of the film, to kind of feel sorry for some of them. And I'm sorry, some characters don't need to be feel sorry for. So Deva will receive a 3.5 out of 5 Blue Futons, which equals that 70%. So let's see the critics and user scores gave this one. So it looks like we're at a critics a 45% with 11 of them, audience score a 64% with over 50. No critic consensus. But yeah, like I said, some people are just not liking this movie, saying it's generic, has potential, but truly unpredictable. 2 out of 5. I don't know, maybe I am on the higher end for this one, but I kind of enjoyed what this movie was trying to do. Trying to do is probably the right word. 70, 64, 45. Jeez, like here with Blue Futon. Like, comment, subscribe. One thanks, Blue Futontopia. You Blue Futon. Take watch from a great day. I'll watch this tape tomorrow, week from a month, and year from every single freaking one of you. And actually, it's one of the better Indian movies of this year. Most of them have been in the 60s range. One was in the 40 range. One has really stood out, and I will not tell you how to say it because I still don't know how. I suck.